Look at this workbench. 8 quart bottles lined up in a row, each one drained out of a Honda CVT at the exact same 5,000-mile interval. Each bottle has a label with the brand, the mileage on the transmission, and a little photo strip taped to the side showing the color shift from fresh fluid to drain. There's a lab tag on every one, because every single sample went out to an independent oil analysis facility before I ever opened my mouth on camera. And what came back surprised me. 2 of those bottles tested almost identically to factory Honda fluid. One of them tested so far off spec I'd never run it again in anything I cared about. And the cheapest bottle on the bench may actually be the smartest buy for a lot of you watching. Let me walk you through what we found. Before I name names, you need to understand why CVT fluid is one of the pickiest fluids in your entire vehicle. A regular automatic transmission uses ATF, and ATF is forgiving. It bathes clutch packs and a torque converter, and most modern ATFs are designed with a wide tolerance window. A CVT is a completely different animal. Inside a Honda CVT, you've got 2 variable pulleys squeezing a steel push belt, and the entire mechanism relies on metal-to-metal friction at a very specific coefficient. The fluid isn't just lubricating, it's actually part of the friction mechanism that lets the belt grip the pulleys without slipping and without grinding itself into shavings. That's why Honda doesn't call it ATF. They call it HCF2 Honda. CVT fluid version 2, and the spec sheet for HCF2 is genuinely strict. It controls viscosity at specific temperatures. It controls the friction coefficient between steel surfaces. It controls foam tendency, oxidation resistance, and shear stability over a long service life. Get the wrong friction coefficient and the belt may microslip under load, which can polish the pulley faces over time and lead to that shudder a lot of Honda owners describe around 80 to 100,000 miles. So when Honda says use HCF2, their reasoning is sound. They're not just protecting profit margins, they're protecting a friction interface that was engineered around one specific fluid formulation. So how did I actually test these 8 brands? I'm not a chemist, but I work with one. The setup was simple. 8 nearly identical Honda CVT vehicles in the same shop fleet, all between 60 and 90,000 miles, all running their factory HCF2 baseline that we drained and documented first. Each one got a full triple drain refill with a different test fluid. We logged the start condition, drove each vehicle 5,000 miles of mixed real-world use, then pulled a clean drain sample and sent it to an independent lab. The lab ran kinematic viscosity at 40 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius, total base number, ICP metal content for iron, copper, aluminum, lead, and zinc, plus a friction coefficient bench test against a reference steel coupon to check whether the fluid still held its friction modifier package after 5,000 miles. We weren't trying to torture these fluids. We were trying to see how they actually behaved in a real transmission, in a real climate, doing real driving. And here's where it gets interesting, because the technical part of why these fluids behave so differently comes down to something most drivers have never thought about. Friction modifiers. Now think about cooking for a second. If you've ever poured a high-end specialty oil into a screaming hot pan, you'll notice it does something cheap canola oil doesn't do. It coats the pan evenly, it holds its character under heat, and it doesn't break down into smoke and bitter compounds after a few minutes. Cheap canola goes into that same hot pan, and within seconds, it's smoking, separating, losing whatever flavor profile it started with. Same base liquid category. Wildly different behavior under thermal stress. CVT friction modifiers work the same way. The fluid has to maintain a very specific grip character at the steel-on-steel interface inside the pulley assembly, and it has to hold that character through hundreds of thousands of heat cycles. A cheap modifier package collapses early. A good one holds its grip the way that specialty oil holds its body in the pan. Shear stability is the other half of this. Every time that push belt squeezes between the pulley faces, the fluid in that contact patch gets sheared at enormous pressure. Imagine wringing out a sponge over and over. A cheap sponge falls apart in a week. A good sponge holds its structure for months. Fluids work the same way. The viscosity index improvers, which are long-chain polymers that help the fluid resist thinning when it gets hot, can literally get chopped into smaller pieces by repeated shearing. When that happens, the fluid thins out, the protective film between the belt and pulley gets thinner, and metal starts touching metal in microscopic flashes. That's where wear metals come from in your drain sample. Here's the part that surprised me most. Friction modifier behavior is what separates HCF2 fluid from generic CVT fluid more than anything else. You can have 2 fluids with nearly identical viscosity charts on paper, and one of them may grip the belt correctly while the other one lets it slip just enough to start polishing the pulley faces over thousands of miles. You won't feel it for a long time. The transmission won't grind, it won't shudder, it won't throw a code. It'll just be quietly eating itself, and by the time the symptoms show up, the damage may already be done. That's the protective angle I want you to walk away with, because nobody at the parts counter is going to explain this to you. So let's talk about what came out of the lab. The factory Honda HCF2 sample, which I'm treating as the reference, came back with viscosity at 100 Celsius right in the middle of spec, TBN holding strong, wear metals very low across the board, and the friction coefficient on the bench test sitting almost exactly where a fresh sample would land. That's the benchmark. Now here's the part that got my attention. The Idemitsu HCF2 sample came back so close to the factory Honda result that frankly, if you handed me the two reports without the labels, I couldn't tell you which was which. Viscosity numbers within a couple percent, friction coefficient essentially identical, wear metals in the same low range, and that tracks because Idemitsu is widely understood in the industry to be the actual manufacturer that produces HCF2 for Honda. You're buying the same fluid in a different bottle, and depending on where you shop, it may run roughly half the price of the dealer fluid. Amsoil's CVT formulation came back strong too. Viscosity was slightly heavier than the Honda baseline, but still within a reasonable tolerance. TBN was actually a hair higher, which suggests a more robust additive reserve, and wear metals were comparably low. The friction coefficient was very close to the reference, off by a hair, but not in a way that raised flags in our testing. Mobile 1 and Castrol both turned in solid results. Their viscosities held, their wear metals were acceptable, and their friction modifier packages still showed credible activity at the 5,000 mile mark. Not factory equivalent, but defensible. Pennzoil's CVT fluid landed in roughly the same band. None of those four are HCF2 licensed in the same sense Idemitsu is, but they performed within a range I'd consider acceptable for an out-of-warranty vehicle being driven moderately. Then we get to the two that gave me pause. The Valvoline Universal CVT formulation came back with elevated wear metals compared to the rest of the field. Iron and copper both trended higher in the drain sample, and that may correlate with a friction modifier package that isn't tuned tightly to the Honda HCF2 friction window. It's not catastrophic in a single 5,000 mile interval, but extrapolated over years of service, samples indicated a wear trajectory I personally wouldn't accept on a transmission I plan to keep. And the generic O'Reilly House brand CVT fluid was the one that really concerned me. Viscosity was actually in range, which is what makes this so sneaky, but the friction coefficient on the bench test fell outside the Honda HCF2 friction window. In our testing, that's the single most important number on the report, because it's the one that may correlate with that long, slow pulley wear nobody catches until it's too late. This is exactly why the universal CVT fluid concept needs to be challenged. Walk into any chain auto parts store, and you'll see bottles labeled multi-vehicle CVT fluid, compatible with Honda, Nissan, Toyota, Subaru, Mitsubishi, and a list as long as your arm. Here's the problem. Each of those manufacturers engineered their CVT around a different friction window. Nissan NS2 fluid is not Honda HCF2, is not Toyota TC, is not Subaru Lineartronic CVTF. The friction coefficient targets are different, the additive chemistries are different, and the belt and chain designs they're supporting are different. A single bottle claiming to satisfy all of them is essentially the lowest common denominator in chemistry form. It may keep things wet, it may keep things cool, but in our testing, the friction performance was the weak link. That's not a brand attack. That's just what the formulation has to compromise to claim compatibility that wide. And I want to be fair about this. The universal fluids aren't dangerous in some immediate sense. Your transmission isn't going to grenade on the drive home from the parts store. The risk is slow and quiet, polishing instead of grinding. A friction coefficient that's a few percent off the engineered target, working on your pulleys for tens of thousands of miles before you ever notice a symptom. By the time you feel a shudder under acceleration, the pulley faces may already be glazed. That's the part that doesn't fit in a bottle label. The marketing says compatible. The lab data suggests compromised. Both can be true at the same time. So where does that leave you, the person actually trying to make a decision at the parts counter this weekend? Here's how I'd think about it. If you are still under factory warranty, the answer is genuinely simple. Run Honda HCF2 from the dealer. The warranty document is specific about fluid spec, and if anything ever goes wrong with that transmission, you do not want a non-licensed fluid in there giving the warranty adjuster a reason to deny your claim. The cost difference between dealer HCF2 and aftermarket isn't worth the risk during the warranty window. Just buy the gold bottle, save the receipt, and move on. If you are out of warranty and you're trying to balance protection against budget, Idemitsu HCF2 is in our testing the strongest case I can make for an aftermarket choice. The numbers came back so close to factory Honda that the practical difference may be inside the margin of error. You're buying what is widely believed to be the same fluid the factory uses in a different bottle at a price point that lets you actually keep up with your drain intervals rather than stretching them out because the fluid is expensive. And honestly, doing a fresh drain and fill every 30 to 40,000 miles with a good fluid may matter more. For long-term transmission health than which premium bottle you chose, if you tow regularly, or you live in a hot climate, or you spend a lot of time in stop and go traffic where the fluid temperature stays elevated, Amsoil CVT is the formulation I'd lean toward. The slightly heavier viscosity and the stronger additive reserve gave me confidence that under sustained heat load, it may hold its protective character longer than a thinner formulation. That's not me telling you to ignore Honda's recommendation. It's me saying that if your duty cycle is severe, there's a defensible argument for a fluid built with a bit more thermal headroom. If your only criterion is the cheapest bottle on the shelf, please don't make that decision on a Honda CVT. Save money somewhere else. Skip a coffee for a week, do your own oil changes, anything. The generic house brand fluid samples indicated a friction coefficient mismatch that I'm not comfortable putting in a transmission I want to keep for another 100,000 miles. And if you've already run universal CVT fluid in your Honda, don't panic. The smart move is a full triple drain with HCF2 or Idemitsu. Get the chemistry back to where it belongs. Then watch for any shudder or hesitation symptoms over the next few thousand miles. The transmission may recover fully if you catch it early. One more thing before we close. Whatever fluid you choose, the maintenance interval may matter just as much as the brand. Honda's official guidance on CVT fluid intervals has shifted over the years, and the severe service interval is meaningfully shorter than the normal service interval. Most people are driving severe service whether they realize it or not. Short trips, traffic, hot weather, towing a small trailer occasionally, hauling a roof box on vacation, any of that pushes you into the shorter interval. Drain and fill more often with a good fluid, and you may extend the life of that transmission by years. Stretch the interval with a marginal fluid, and you're rolling dice with a part that costs more than $5,000 to replace. I want to hear from you on this one, because the field of CVT owners running aftermarket fluid is genuinely huge, and I only got to test 8 bottles. Drop a comment with what you're currently running, what model and year you're driving, and how many miles are on the transmission right now. If you've had a shudder show up and go away after a fluid change, tell me what you switched to and what your interval has been. The more reports we collect, the better picture we get of how these fluids actually behave in the real world, not just on a lab bench. And if you want to see the next round where I dig into Nissan NS3 fluid and the Jatco transmissions, subscribe so you catch it. Take care of that transmission. It's the one part on a modern Honda you really can't afford to gamble on.